Heath, should Dave go first?
No, I think my favorite buy low. Let's turn back the clock. Turn back the clock to an oldie but a goodie. David Montgomery.
Oh, yeah. Actually, we have some pretty big news today. I'll at least tease it. We got the Khalil Herbert on IR. We got Dallas Goedert out for a while. And we got Cooper Kupp on IR, which we were sort of bracing for. But okay,
don't
first
forget about
talking about the Bears here. What's that? Oh, and Ertz is out for the season. But we knew that yesterday, right?
Yeah, but still.
Okay.
Part of the bloodbath of Week 10.
Did you guys not update your rankings? Because I saw Montgomery was somewhere around RB20, which surprised me. Go ahead, talk about Dave Montgomery.
I think he's around 16 for me, 16 to 18. No, I think it's not been a very good year for him, and I don't know that he's necessarily going to be efficient the rest of the year, but his main competition for touches is gone. You should expect David Montgomery to be the 20-touch running back that he has shown an ability to be in the past. This is not a disastrous Bears offense any longer. Justin Fields' mobility opens things up a little bit, and I think Montgomery has a chance to be a high-end number 2 running back for the rest of the season.
Let's talk. I think we should talk a little bit more about this here. Dave, what are your expectations for Montgomery? His next 4 games, which will certainly be without Khalil Herbert, are the Falcons, the Jets, the Packers, and the Eagles. What do you think?
I think the schedule's fine. I agree with Heath completely. And the only pushback I would give is that the people who have Montgomery, and whether they have Herbert or not, they know that Herbert's out for the year. They know that Montgomery has a chance to be startable running back, a number 2 guy that can propel them potentially into a playoff spot. So I don't think you're going to be able to get away with paying what you would have had to pay last week, not by a long shot, for David Montgomery.
Hold on. You said Herbert's out for the year. Did you miss there?
4 games.
Right. He's out.
Minimum 4 games.
Yes.
Could be more. We don't know the specifics on the injury.
Montgomery, you want to guess where he ranks per game?
In what?
28
fantasy points?
Yeah.
28.
Yeah.
You wish. 39th in non, 42nd in full PPR.
Ow.
Oh, yeah, because he had the game with 2 carries or whatever.
Take away that game, he'd be RB 36 per game, basically, in both formats. So it's been a terrible year for him. But this is a team that has the 4th most running back carries in football. Just running back carries. And, and Herbert was getting a pretty decent chunk of that. Tristan Ebner, any interest in adding him in a deeper league?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Would you rather have DeAndre Swift or David Montgomery rest of season?
I'll take Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Would you rather have Jeff Wilson or Montgomery?
I think I'm ready to lean toward Wilson.
I'd probably go Montgomery.
It's funny because if Montgomery had been playing better, he's averaging, I think, 3.8, 3.9 yards per carry. If he'd been playing better, if he were been Khalil Herbert, I'm sure you guys would be talking about him as a potential top 5, top maybe 10 at the worst running back, right? With this opportunity. Is that it? Is that correct?
Well, I mean, it depends on how well he was playing.
He'd been playing like Khalil Herbert.
What if they
does he have Khalil Herbert's target volume?
Khalil Herbert gets no targets, but let's just say
exactly that's what I'm saying. Like if he doesn't have a role in the passing game, then no, he wouldn't be a top 5 or top 10 potential running back with this opportunity.
Assuming David Montgomery had gone on IR, you'd rank Khalil Herbert a lot higher than you rank Montgomery, I assume.
No, they'd be about the same, and I'm not sure he can handle that job in passing downs.
I would probably have him a couple spots higher.
All right, Dave, who's your favorite buy low?
My favorite buy low is Justin Herbert, who you might actually be able to still buy low on. He's getting his receivers back. Schedule for him upcoming isn't that bad. This is the team with the 2nd highest pass rate on offense by 1/10 of a percentage point behind the Bucs, who might become more of a running team now all of a sudden. We don't know. We'll see. So pass-friendly offense, quarterback who's really good, receivers coming back, high-scoring games ahead. This is the quarterback to go trade for if you've got quarterback issues and you don't want to overpay for Fields, for Tua, and there's no one on the waiver wire that you really like.
I agree 100% for Dave. My only criticism of this would be Dave's criticism of what I said about David Montgomery.
Which is that everybody knows that the receivers are coming back.
Right.
he won't be cheaper than David Montgomery in trade, but I feel like people will be more. I don't think that factor, because people knew that those receivers would come back anyway. It's just that now they're coming back. Yes, I think people might ask for a little bit more for Herbert than they did a week ago, or they would ask for a little bit more if there wasn't such certainty. And there's still no guarantee, by the way, that Williams and Keenan Allen are going to be back. And there's no guarantee, especially in the case of Keenan Allen, that he's going to be his old self all of a sudden. He's got this hamstring issue that might last with him all year. Who knows? But I still, as long as one of those guys is there, and really the one is Williams, I'm feeling a lot better about Justin Herbert.
Gerald Everett, by the way, is day-to-day with his groin injury. I want to go back to Montgomery just because I saw an interesting question in the chat, if you wouldn't mind. What is the difference between David Montgomery and Brian Robinson?
Montgomery is on a better offense and catches passes, and is probably a half yard better per carry.
Ooh, I don't know if he's a half yard better per
carry.
He's
not splitting. I don't think Ebner's going to get the work Herbert got.
I'd be surprised.
Right? So Gibson is definitely a factor there. Okay.
So Montgomery's 3.8 yards per carry. Is Robinson better than 3.3?
I don't think so.
Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah, I was underrating Montgomery there.
Overrating Robinson. All right, as you look that up, let's talk about our favorite sell high guys. And Dave, you can go first. Who's your favorite sell high?
I had a lot of names for sell high, and I struggled with finding sell high guys this week. I've got 3 names where I think I can make an argument, but I don't know if I'd really want to slap my name on those players as saying that they're definitely sell high guys. So let me give you the one that I would put my name on, and that's James Conner. Not very sexy, but he had a huge workload. He's going to continue to have a huge workload. We've seen what happens to him when he has a huge workload. It's a Cardinals offense that I still think is going to lean pass as they move forward and not be in these rare situations where the opponent they're playing can't do anything offensively, leading to a favorable game script for James Conner. Their schedule coming up, it's the Niners. That's tough. The Chargers, okay, that's easy. Bye, that's a 0. Patriots, tough. Broncos, not so easy. Tampa Bay, not so easy. So he's got one good matchup left in his next 5-6 weeks. Man, if you can turn him into anything Montgomery? That can help your team, and you're good at that. Oh yeah, if you can turn him into Montgomery, I'll take Montgomery over Conner.
Huh. Yeah, I would rather have James Conner. I just look back at the stretch last year after Chase Edmonds got hurt, and the usage was almost exactly what it was last week. He averaged 3.5 yards per carry and was the number 2 running back in fantasy.
All touchdowns, right?
No, receiving work too. I think when you reference those games where the other team does something on offense and they're playing from behind and go more pass heavy, it's just going to mean that he's catching 5 or 6 passes instead of 3 or 4 passes. There's no pass catching back either. He's the guy.
Well, I hope he gets those targets. I mean, he could, and 4 catches isn't a lot to ask for James Conner in those situations. But we know that receiving core is a lot better now than it was toward the end last season. And so I think there's some diversification that Kyler Murray, assuming he's healthy, can take advantage of.
What's different?
I still look at James Conner as mega volume dependent, plus he needs touchdowns. And I don't feel confident that he can do that every single week like he did last week.
It's a role versus production thing, or at least
role versus efficiency
thing. Right, exactly. The role is unquestionably great. The efficiency is awful and has been for a year and a half now. But it may not matter, and I think people are going to be very split on that. So you can decide which side of the fence you want to be on with James Conner.
I don't know that there's really, other than one offense will probably score more points, I don't know that there's a big difference between James Conner and Joe Mixon.
And yet there's no chance in the world that you could offer the same thing for Conner.
You can get Conner a lot cheaper.
Less than half the price.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would hope I disagree too. I think Mixon's got more upside and more efficiency.
That's the thing. I mean, Mixon's had such a bad year, but hopefully he can turn it around. But
agreed.
He hasn't given us a lot of hope about that. He's had a few good games, including his most recent one. All right, Dave, or Heath rather, who's your favorite sell high?
I think it's I mean, it's the guy that we were really excited about 2 weeks ago because of how great his schedule was, and he's been the #1 quarterback in fantasy since. It's Justin Fields.
This is one of the names that I had to. You can make the argument. Sure, go for it.
Yeah. I would love to see what type of starter I could get to trade Justin Fields for Herbert and add a high-end #2 running back or wide receiver in the deal. I think he's probably QB7, QB8 rest of season, but he still has his bye. He has an awful schedule in week. Like sometimes with these great players, when you're trading them, you're thinking, man, I'm trading him to another playoff team. I don't want to face this guy in the playoffs. I might be okay facing him in the playoffs against the Eagles or the Bills. I might be all right with it. I hear people talking about him or read, I guess, on Twitter about how, man, I guess I'll trade Josh Allen away or I'll trade Lamar Jackson away. Like I've got Justin Fields now. I don't have needs for those guys. People are viewing him as either the #1 quarterback rest of season or a top 3 quarterback rest of season, which means you could get the moon for him. 85 fantasy points in his last 2 games combined. People are going gaga. It's awesome. I love it. I was the Justin Fields guy this summer, but go sell him for the moon and make your team better.
But don't sell him just to sell him.
No, for the moon.
Yeah. Well, the best part about him is that he's everybody's #2 quarterback, right? I mean, how many people have? A lot of people have Lamar and Fields, Tua and Fields, you know, so that.
Dude, I've got Josh Allen and Fields, and I started Fields last week, and it saved me from having a sweat. I won in a blowout.
I keep asking this, but I'll ask one more time since you brought up Fields. Do matchups matter? He scored 30 points against the Cowboys 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago, I guess.
No. The only thing that I would say is eventually he's going to run into a defense that tries to keep him in the pocket. And they defend him like they used to defend Lamar Jackson in the year after his MVP season, and that didn't even work out that great for defenses. But he's a good passer on top of it. Like I think he might be a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you, I think he can get there. He's made some really good throws over the last several weeks.
Yes, but he is not currently.
He's not there.
Okay.
I mean, I mean, I'm sure you watched the film. I did too. He's doing a great job.
The interception was ugly. There's no question. It was terrible.
Yeah, the interception was
trying to make a play.
He's going to make some bad throws. The thing is, he runs around, he extends plays, and guys get wide open.
Yeah,
right?
Well,
that's can't cover for that long. And this isn't a criticism or anything like this. This is strength.
Go ahead.
This is the strength. His legs are making him a better passer right now. But there's some ugly throws in there. He sits in the pocket. He'll make some bad, but it doesn't matter.
And really Lamar has some ugly throws too.
Yeah, his speed is unbelievable. He can run for 100 yards on any team. So I wouldn't want to face him in the playoffs, but I do definitely see the merit in selling if you have another quarterback you can rely on. Now, I think if you have Tom Brady, if you have like anyone that's not a top 7 quarterback and Justin Fields, I'm not sure I'm selling him because
I think the play is to if that's the case, the play is to trade him for another top 7 quarterback and more.